State of the city address. Did everybody come on over and take a seat? That'd be great. Come on over. Yeah, I'll take a seat here. Everybody, the new superintendent from the house, Ginger here. Talk about your board during the session. Take a seat, please. Well, good evening. Welcome to the 2024 State of the City. I'm very honored to have you here today. It's been a busy year. We'll be lots of updates what's going on in the city of Eagle Valley, representing all 29,000 residents in the city of Eagle Valley. Please keep in mind, I'm Sean Kelly, council member. I'm the chair right now, the mayor of the city of Eagle Valley. I want to try to introduce all the electeds in here. We got Deputy Mayor Dana Pinella right here. Council member Dean Pearson right here. Council member Victoria Strock right here, and Council member Sid Osmond. Councilor Herbert and Councilor Burberry are on pre-planned vacations. One's in a nice tropical area, and the other one's got us here, so they got excuse for today. And we're pretty excited for that. Make sure I introduce the other electeds in the room today. And also Commissioner Eads right here from Covington. Kevin right here, coming to the Water District, and Tyler out here, coming to the Water District. You guys get your hand real quick. And we have State Representative Bill Ramos right there. Bill, thank you for being here. And from the Oklahoma School District, I saw Jennifer working for. Anybody see Jennifer? Anybody know where she at? Oh, Jennifer right there. Jennifer right there, school board director. Pete Miller, vice president right there, and then President Michael Wood right there. So any other electeds I've missed? Okay, let's set the good. I want to make sure I big shout out to Under Sheriff Jesse Anderson. Thank you very much for coming out to Seattle for being here. He's a lot to us. So thanks for coming out to the sheriff's assistance. Okay, first slide, just have to put your mind with her. You're a trained professional. Is that not getting any sort of sales? Here's how we're gonna do it. We're going to probably do about 20 minutes of introductions, what's going on in the city, and then at the end, we're going to ask if you have any questions. We like questions. We want questions. And if we don't know the answers, we're going to go to the staff. Staff doesn't know the answers, they're going to write it down and they'll get back to you. That's how we do these things. So please ask questions. We love questions. Here's council members. We just introduced all the council members. Awesome team right here. All 7 of us. And then the next slide. Council members are on lots of subcommittees. We just don't go to 1 or 2 meetings a month, right, Council Pearson?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for selling that.
Yeah, and so if it's just 2 meetings a month, we can even do one virtual if we have to. Oh, I guess I'll do it. I can do it. Yeah. So these are all the meetings we're on. The big ones that kind of want to throw out that are big for us is the Finance Committee. They meet every 2 weeks. Council Dawson's going to be talking about that. The Public Safety Oversight Committee. Public safety is a normal responsibility. Make sure we're safe in town. And we meet like Council Pearson, sure, every 2 months on that one. On that one. Then we got lots of other subcommittees, and then we're on regional committees too, like the deputy mayor is on the affordable housing and other issues like that. Councilor Dawson is on the growth management committee meeting for King County. Councilor Schrock, right now, you are on the King County Conservation District and other homeless partners right there. And Councilor Pearson was on the Emergency Management Advisory Committee. So you can see we're not just going to few meetings a month, we're actually getting a lot of information. So when we come back, when we get from the staff, and we'll get a policy, like funds or something, we're ready to go. And I just want to put a disclaimer out there right now. Downstairs, we have a little valley hills that we're focusing right now. So if you hear the music and stuff like that, then that's a story. Okay, any questions? Am I missing anything about committee assignments? High level thing? No. So vision, mission, core values, we just updated this last year for the city. I'm gonna let you read that really quick. The house is crown jewel right there. Several of you been on a nice sunny day, and you can see Mount Rainier up there. really cool here for me, and you get to see Mount Rainier. It's really special. A lot of the other cities are very envious of the resources we have here. The next slide, please. Oh. I have to introduce the one, and the turnover person she can introduce her staff. This is Laura Philpott, City Manager of City of Nevada. She is on her 9th year now. The City of Nevada is a city employee with an 8.5 year as a city manager. She's very highly respected in the region. She's on several regional committees. She oversees all the public safety oversight committees, and she's probably on lots of issues that go on the state. She even has to talk to Bill Wallace once in a while during the state budget. She's doing it. So here, Laura.
Thank you, Mayor. So council's going to do a great job of really giving a highlight of what's going on in the city this coming year, and Mayor and I will talk a bit about some of the accomplishments over the last year, but it really takes a full team, and I just wanted to highlight our city staff. We have 57 full-time staff, and that's really small for a city the size of 29,000 population. It's a really small staff. We have a very dynamic team that does a lot of work. It's supplemented by 17 part-time. Some of those are the folks that help out running our lodge and events. And then in the summertime, we hire 55 to 60 people to run our day camps, to help with augment our maintenance team. They also do our lifeguard program. That's really, it takes that whole team to really put together the amazing programs that we have each year. So I have listed here on the slide the different departments in the city. It's up there. I just want to highlight that our police department is not included in those numbers because we contract with King County. So Councilor Pearson will talk about that later. So if it's not included, she'll give a highlight of the police team when she shares a little bit about public safety. So it's just a really great team. We have a number of people here. So if you're on staff, you raise your hand so people can look around and see how many of the team is here to answer questions and help out. So we have a whole lot of people here. So when we break afterwards, lots of people to ask questions. Mayor, we'll turn it back over to you to talk about legislative priorities.
Bill, how many of these have been accomplished this year? Okay, we work on all of them, really good on that. So these are legislative priorities. The council comes up with legislative priorities, and then we go down to Olympia a couple plans and work for our partners in Olympia, and a lot of us involved there. Making sure that we have funding for the police helicopter. The reason we wanted that, with the sheriff, yes, he was very small information on that. Is because we're going to change the suit policy in the state. They need to have a tool how to track these people down and running for them. So we actually have tools for our first responders. The suit policy itself, and on that, we're going to study done on that and move that forward. Transportation funding, and that's how 18 and 90. Mental health services funding, and then permanent message boards around town. So quick about what we got accomplished because of our work on a partnership with Sound City Associations and the King County Councils. $6.4 million is allocated to the new helicopter from the summer, right? August, the helicopter came. So pretty excited about that, and then we're going to have other funding sources with them. The mayors and the King County all wrote letters to the King County Council and the legislative office. Next one is the suit policy that was updated this last session. So the police officers now have some tools. So when people run into our storefronts and they just take off a stolen vehicle, and they go back, hopefully catching the perpetrator, make sure that there's a consequence for that. Transportation funding. This person right here is Mr. Mel, getting this back up there, maintaining Highway 18 funding, and the pedestrian bridge going over by Rock Creek Elementary School. So we're getting that design. We're getting that one. So one thing that's really important to get getting here to most about is the roads and stuff like that. Make sure adequate roads that people see from the work environment will also be in places. What's my time limit? What's time? Okay, good. Okay. And then so in the message mental health, Lisa Collins, there was a Lisa Collins, does $200,000 for mental health for community mental health programs. So it's really important to get people in the community around some mental health issues there. And permanent message board and Councilor Representative Ramos and State Representative State Senator Mark Miller, that is $200,000 for permanent That's with force, you know, that's just with one folder. And that's like, we're able to 331st and on the bottom right there. Okay, next up. Okay, I'll do this one, we gotta let you live through for public safety, or we went to the residents last November, and it passed, so that's 65%. Pretty good, important there. Our public safety, we have lots of events in the city of Gladys. Starting here in a few weeks, Tommy's team will be working every Saturday, and so will Mickey. Lots of events going on around town, so there's always some kind of events. This is how many 911 calls they got right there, 3,900, that's 911 calls they got, they respond to in 6 square mile area. And then that's 3,200, that's how many like traffic stops they did and things they went through there. Emergency management is extremely important. So when, notice when we use the word when, we have an sort of quote or some big disaster. Make sure they have the resources back there. Sean Lee, right there from Wizard Dam, is highly recognized by the state and our regional partners as a outstanding resource for that. And because of Sean Grant, we have a generator up in City Hall. It's pretty exciting. Maintenance, to make sure we have all of those equipment ready for ice storms. And installing weather stations. Well, that's kind of the maintenance facility, right? The weather station has to see what the weather conditions are. And then making sure we got the sidewalks all ready to go for people. Okay, where's gonna take a list?
Right, yeah, our team accomplished a lot last year. We began the work on Lee Road. We've been driving on the road to see the progress on around about 254. It's been quite beautiful. Completed the pavement overlay program in Spring Haven neighborhood and downtown design standards. This was a multi-year project that we did a lot of public outreach, worked with the planning commission, worked with the city council, and so now there is design standards we've heard since I started. Wouldn't it be great if Maple Valley had a downtown? We completed our draft climate action and resiliency plan. And then in partnership with Tahoma School District, we provided 474 school-based therapy sessions, ADHD parent education and support groups, mental health first aid training, and I've actually taken that training. It is amazing. So if you haven't, get on our website. We offer that training free to anyone in the community. And then fentanyl and suicide prevention education events. And this is the $200,000 that we received from the state. Representative Cowan really supported is funding to continue these types of programs. Community-wide Kindness Connects campaign, which is always fun. We do that in November of each year. In addition, some great things to be proud of from the last year. We provided $475,000 in grant funds for human services and nonprofits. So this is like for the food bank, the community center. We also provided $473,000 in grant funds to small businesses in our community. So that was huge. People are still recovering from the pandemic, and the city was able to give direct grant funding to businesses here in town. $473,000, I think that's something to be super proud of. We also received over $1.5 million in various grants to support capital projects and programs within our city. Our parks and recreation, we implemented a brand new event called the Zombie Dash. It was very popular and sold out. Youth Basketball League had a record number of players, participants, over 800 children were in a basketball league. And then the inside of the splash, if you've been in here in the past, the black on the inside and the walls, it just looks so clean and nice. So it was a big project for our team. So that I'm gonna tackle with you here. You want me to say, wow, we're gonna talk a little bit about what's on the rise and what's coming. So Councilor Pearson is gonna start us off with public safety.
Welcome, thank you for being here tonight. As Mayor said, our #1 priority is public safety in our community, and for us, we have over here. We have a great team of people that are just keeping our streets and our community safe. We are led by Chief Collins, he's in the back over here. And we have an admin sergeant and a patrol sergeant, 12 patrol officers, We have 1 traffic motor officer and 3 detectives, 1 school resource officer, partners with our school district and is in our school buildings, and then 1 amazing administrative assistant, Nikki, in the back that helps the wheels turn and make sure that everybody's in line and doing everything that we need to do. She's shaking her head yes over there. And then we have 3 vacant spots as well. So some of the things that we've been doing, this is just a small list. This is not a full list of everything that's, but we're just trying to highlight some of the things. Retail outreach for retail theft mitigation, that's important. I know I can see people shaking their heads, and so our team will work with our businesses to support them, provide information, and just be there to help with that. Evaluate co-responder model using MHPs from partner agencies. MHPs are mental health professionals, and so they're evaluating that process and see how that would work for us here in our community. Continued support of community events. Yep, the calendar is still filling up. We have a lot of events, and you will see our police officers and all of our folks out there supporting our events for traffic safety and all of that. Traffic emphasis. So we got some grants from Washington State Traffic Safety Commission, and we'll be doing some traffic emphasis. So just heads up. There'll be DUI, speeding, distracted driving enforcements. So again, heads up, we will hear that, and that's a good way to just kind of remind us to slow down and follow the rules, and and remind folks to just be safe on the roads. We have a phenomenal Explorer program. I wish you guys were in the room a few weeks ago when our Explorers were at our council meeting. We have one of the largest posts in the state of Washington. We have the most continuous hours served among anyone in the state, for over 4,000, I think 4,500 or so hours that our Explorers have served. That's a lot of volunteer time, and the cool part of that is our Explorers compete. They are usually Explorers of the year after year, so we're very proud of them. And they often come back as we hire them to come back and serve in our community. So a really great program, and then we have the deployment of small unmanned aerial system. So that's in an emergency, if we need to employ something such, not as big as a helicopter, but we need something quick. So we have that opportunity as well with that program, and evaluating through public communication from PD using social media. Obviously communication is really important, and we want to push out information to you guys as quickly as possible. And so that's one that we continue to improve on and evaluate. Transportation.
Yeah, I get transportation, and I know everybody's curious about that, so I'm gonna be reading off notes because I want to get this right, and there's a lot of information here, so everything is, I'm not looking directly at you so much, but transportation is sort of the hot topic in town, and there's a lot going on. We have a lot that we've accomplished so far, and then much is in the works. So just give you a little bit of what's happening. First off, the Witty Roundabout. It's keeps the sidewalk connection from the entrance into Cedar Downs to the community center. It provides a safe intersection at SR 254th Place and the entrance into the golf course. And it also provides another major culvert replacement in which we removed the fish passage barrier. The intersection was raised 6 feet, and we will have a ribbon cutting in the next couple of months to celebrate its completion. The roundabout will have artwork to commemorate Linda Johnson. So I don't know if you have had a chance to look into that, but it's we got something really special for her. So the Witty Driveway culverts, the project will start this summer and will also be completed this summer. So that's pretty great. The city received over $2 million in grants and loans to reduce upstream flooding and replace collapsed and undersized culverts along the Witty corridor. So I know sometimes it can be like culverts, we really have to, close down traffic and everything for that, but they're hugely important. So With the completion of this project, we will have removed alternate passage barriers on Woody Road from the Lake Lucerne to Jenkins Creek. Construction will include a 2-week full road closure on Woody from Lake Wilderness to Driftwood Drive to Southeast 256th Street. And we did decide on a full road closure just so we could get it done quickly, and hopefully, with the minimal impact as possible. A lot more notice will be coming out on the closure, similar to the 1-week closure we had on Woody 2 years ago. So this is really exciting. The SR 169 pedestrian bridge, and I don't know if all of you have heard about this, but it began as kind of a like, hey, wouldn't this be great? I believe from Deputy Mayor Pernilla was the first one who kind of tossed that out there. So in order to make it easier for pedestrians and cyclists to get from one side of Valley Highway to the other, and to kind of close that gap, because there's so many amazing things to do in town, but sometimes it's just not very walkable. It's hard to get there, right? So there will be a pedestrian bridge that will go from long about Rock Creek Elementary and lead over into the legacy site where the farmers market is. And we're really excited because not only did we get the city secured a grant for the design, which will be done next year, but thank you very much to our state legislators. We were granted the funds to actually complete it. So it's going to, I think it's going to be really game changing for our community. It's going to go a long way to making it the more walkable city that we're all hoping for. So stay tuned for that. And let me turn this because there. Yes. So the SR 516 crosswalk. So we anticipate completion in the fall of 2024. The location is where we observed many students crossing the highway near the THS tennis courts. And this is another one we were really excited about because it was a safety issue. You know, we're so worried that at some point something's going to happen for one of our kids crossing the road there. So we really pushed to get this through more quickly too. In addition to SR 516 crosswalk, we have received funding for crosswalks, RFPs for the new Whitty roundabout at Southeast 254th Place on Whitty Road north of Southeast 248th Street next to the community center, a location at Southeast 240th Street next to the back entrance to QFC, crosswalks behind Rock Creek Elementary School on Southeast 280th Street next to Glacier Park Elementary School, and a crosswalk on 216th Avenue Southeast next to Alpine. So this is transportation, but it also definitely ties into safety because these are all measures to keep all of this as safe as possible, especially our kiddos, and again to help make things more walkable. So T45, big project coming up. Construction will include adding north and southbound lanes, separated sidewalks and bike lanes between Southeast 260th Street. So that's just south of the Legacy site, and Southeast 253rd Place in front of the Legacy site at Rock Creek Elementary School. The school will have a separate queuing lane. Construction is expected to start in June 2024 and will last from 18 to 24 months. Construction is expected to be similar to construction a few years ago on SR 169 from Southeast 240th Street to Whitty Road. And as you probably are aware too, this is part of a larger project where along the length of SR 169, highway widening. So eventually that's the vision, right? We'll have pedestrian crosswalks, we'll have bike lanes, a divided highway. So all to make this a lot safer and more pedestrian friendly as well. So thank you. So next we have, thanks. Sid.
Thank you. All right, I get to talking a little bit about the comprehensive plan. Comprehensive plan sets our development plans going forward for the next 20 years. It's a result of a effort back in the early 90s by the state of Washington to manage growth management plan. And every large area developed what they call the urban growth area. And I don't know if many of you know, but Maple Valley is on the very eastern edge of the growth management area for King County. So Maple Valley can't expand any further to the east That's the boundary line. So we have about 5 square miles that we can work with. So every 10 years, we're required by the state to update that, and there's multiple components of that that include housing, includes transportation, it includes economic development, land use, parks, and now there's also a new section in there that will include climate. And so we work on that. For the past year, the planning commission has been tasked with working with that, along with the staff. They get information from the State Department of Commerce provides what our to the county, and county provides what our housing and employment expectations are for the next 20 years. So Maple Valley has been given a number about 1,720 additional housing units to plan for the next 20 years. And so we have to figure out how we're going to work that into our overall plan of development. So that's why you see a number of things going on that includes mixed use, where it's commercial and housing combined. So right now, planning commission just turned their plans over to the council tonight. Hopefully, right after this, starting the first sections of that, and have conversations with the staff and the EDC, or Economic Development Commission, and the Planning Commission on those elements. And so there'll be a lot of discussion. We also look for input from our residents as we go through. If there's something you like, something you don't like, we need to hear about it, because that's how we plan for the future. So we will be doing this through the next couple months through the summer, and then we have to have that done by December 31st. And then a little bit about the current development. We have the next slide. So you're going to see some development. Now, this is under the current comprehensive plan, not the future one, but this is what we already have for development in our comprehensive plan. The villages are down south of Safeway. You're going to see that area developed. It was used to be a log cabin house across from Les Schwab in that area. So that's here's kind of the description of what it's going to look like. 3-story mixed-use structure with 36 residential units on the upper levels, and then 15 3-story multifamily residential structures for a total of 180 residential units. And so all these numbers also go into our future total that we did a lot for. And then we'll have retail, and then over here, just down here on Whitty Road in 240th, there some planned development there for additional multifamily housing. Maple Valley does not have a lot of multifamily housing units. They're predominantly single-family homes, and this is an area that we do have to plan for. Now, the city does not build housing, but we have to plan for it. So, and let's see, the next one is, I think, I'll pass it on to the deputy mayor.
Thanks, Sid. All right, I'm gonna mix mine up a little bit. We're gonna start with the middle one because it's so darn exciting. That's the first ever volunteer and service expo. This is actually happening a week from Wednesday right here. And if you consider what the title reads, it's pretty self-explanatory, but in case it's not clear. If you are a service organization, you for the last few years have struggled to find volunteers. If you are a volunteer or somebody who wants to become involved in the community, sometimes it's not entirely clear how you get started. And this is an inaugural event that I am pretty confident is going to become an annual event. And I want to thank Councilman Pearson for spearheading this, because this, I think, is going to fundamentally change how people feel about the community and their ability to engage with it, and for service organizations to really move the meter on continuing to further this feeling of community that we have. So that's a really, really exciting event that's coming up. Again, a week from Wednesday, right here. Send anybody who may have any interest in getting involved in the community, or if they're already involved and want to see how else they can get involved. The next thing I want to talk about is the fact that we've adopted a 6-year capital park improvement plan. And I'm mentioning that first because that sort of sets the stage for all the other projects I'm going to talk about. And that's really a sign of sort of maturity within the city. We're no longer this forming or storming or norming organization. We're a performing organization, and that we're not just taking projects and saying, okay, what do we do tomorrow? We're looking out specifically for parks improvement projects, capital improvements And we're saying, what are we doing for the next 6 years? And then, of course, that's something that we update every year, and that way we can plan for that strategically, and we can tactically address urgent needs as well as long-term needs. Let's talk about some of those exciting things that we're doing. One of those items, you can see right out that window, again, not terribly frivolous to replace the Parks Maintenance Building. It was built about 100 years ago. So we figured the Parks Maintenance team, in order to steward the assets that we have, that we all know and love, parks, we need to give them an office that they can actually work out of effectively. So we are replacing that. The next one is, we've actually begun design on the Henry's Switch property. So raise your hands if you know what the Henry Switch property is. Yeah, I see about 7 or 8 hands. That's what I figured. Okay, head out 169. You come to 288. You don't know where 288 is. It's the last right turn before you leave the city. So it's the turn that you go up, and then it kind of squiggles around, and you next thing you know, you're in Black Mountain. So just before you make that right-hand turn, there's a forested area before a grassy slope. That's actually city-owned parkland. And we're actually developing what's called a pump track in that area. And whether you realize it or not, that land is also adjacent to the extension of the Lake Wilderness Trail, or what's technically called the Cedar to Green River Trail. So that's along the edge of a regional trail, and it is going to be a park that's accessible by both pedestrians and motorists as well. Very exciting. The other one is Take a Break Park. That is the park that's located more in the center, so towards the north end of town, over by City Hall and the apartments. We're actually replacing all of that playground equipment. And let's see, I feel like there's something I'm forgetting on that. Nope, I think that's good enough. Next slide, please. This one is very exciting. So you have been in the Lake Wilderness Golf Course Clubhouse. It is an old building with carpet that probably dates back to the 70s, maybe. One of the things that we called out in the Parks Improvement Plan is we need to be good stewards of our assets, and one of those things includes updating facilities that need to be updated. That golf course clubhouse was built way back when, and it was designed. It was designed for a community that was much different than we have today. And what we recognized is that clubhouse needs to not just be a golf course clubhouse. And you'll notice what we're calling it now. It is the Lake Wilderness, it will be the Lake Wilderness Community Clubhouse. That's a really important distinction. It will serve the golfers better than it ever has before, but it will also be a community clubhouse. This is going to have, of course, things for the golfer like the pro shop and cart storage. Pretty important to note. Cart storage is no longer going to be in a barn on the other side of the facility parking lot. The carts are now going to be underneath the golf course. We're using the existing footprint, for the most part, about the same footprint. And then we're putting golf carts underneath. Those will be turned to electric golf carts. And the most exciting part for this for me is not only will it have a restaurant, bar, and kitchen to serve golfers, but it will be able to suit major events. So we're talking about having sports simulators. Let's see the next slide on that one, please. So let's go back one, sorry. Yeah, it's really tough to see in this picture. There's sports simulators in the area that's adjacent to the bar, but not in the bar. The idea is it's an all ages facility. You'll be able to send your kiddos there in the middle of the day, on the weekends. You'll be able to have parties there. You can have birthday parties, you can have community events. And then on the next slide, there's this event space. And as it sits right now, this picture that you're seeing right now is the design vision of a totally enclosed banquet hall that would seat 250 people. Now you imagine how many events you've gone to outside of this community in wonderful facilities. And what this will allow us to do is actually host those events here in town, supporting local businesses, getting people here in town, and have something where you can be proud to bring your family and enjoy the space, whether it's with your company or corporate events or whatever it might be. One of the things that we're currently considering is, do we build this facility as we see it here, or do we phase it in? Obviously, this is more expensive. One of the options is that we don't do the exterior walls or finish this area, and we do it more like if you see Druids phase their area. So that's another option. after this meeting, I'd love to talk with any of you and hear your feedback on that. And next. Back to Sid, there you go.
Thank you. So, earlier, our city manager, or Phil Pot, talked about our ARPA funds. So the city received as part of the ARPA funds, everybody, a little approximately $7.2 million. And we used it, in a number of ways, and this is the breakdown of it from, both, public works improvements, park improvements, improving our security, and IT. But the thing that we really want to point out here is that over $2 million of that $7 million went back into the community. So $1.3 million over this timeline from 21 through the current year 24 and into 25 are going to our nonprofits. So the food bank, we help fund the food bank in a number of ways, including providing assistance for anybody who would have needing rental assistance, mortgage assistance, and things like that. And went to the community center to help fund senior lunch programs, things like that, youth programs. So, but yes, $1.3 million went back into the community. So we're very proud of that fact that we were able to do that, and that was a big push on both the staff and the council's part to make sure that happened. And then a little bit less than that, but $724,000 went to helping businesses, local businesses that suffered during that period of time. Either had to close their doors, they lost income, they struggled to stay in business. So we felt it was important that they also were recipients of that, because if they weren't successful coming out of COVID, we'd all suffer from it. So we actually had a coordinator that went to every single business in town and contacted them and provided them the information to be able to help them make it through that period of time. So now we'll go on to the next slide, which is we're now starting our biennial budgeting process, which is always fun. So the city of Maple Valley works on a 2-year budget. So and we go, this one will be for the 25-26 time period. And in that period of time, we kind of set the first year, how we're going to spend, and the second year, and then we adjust as we need to go. But so we have a council retreat coming up, on May 21st, where we actually sit down and we talk about what's important to all of us. We work with the staff, they come in with what they expect that they're going to need. And then there's a little bit of arm wrestling as to how it's all going to work out. And, for example, one of the the mayor's important areas is the Explorer funding that we have. We always make sure that they get funded and supported. But it's also, we make sure that the parks are well funded, the police are well funded, and things like that. So then we also work on our capital plans portion that we work out for the next 6 years. And then by October, we're starting to wrap it up. And then at the end of the year, by law, we have to have it done in December. So it's a busy period of time, but we always enjoy doing it. So, and next slide. And now it's up to the questions. And the mayor is ready to take every single question you have single-handedly.
Thanks, Councilor Dawson. Thanks for the presentation of the month report. If you are a Maple Valley staff and you raise your hand, Nikki, raise your hand. Yeah. Can we give them a big round of applause? We would like that in the foundation of this. These council members work here with a lot of hours, all subjects too. It takes a lot. We form a lot of partnerships with our community partners. We attend road events, chamber events, school board meetings, water commissioner meetings once in a while. And but we want to have these good partnerships for things that come up. So we have to make these decisions. We have a good knowledge of what we feel like the public process. So can you give the council a big round of applause for the We, the council of the city, will ask four things: pay your taxes, obey the law, do jury duty, and we vote. Please make sure you vote, it's very important. Now we're gonna open up for any questions you have. No one's really nervous, so it's, you know, some hand on mic. So is there any questions you have? Anybody? No, any other questions? Okay.
Mr.
We actually like that. Oh, your board members don't have any questions. Actually, I do want to get, go ahead with your question, or, okay.
Question on the Boot Road is the 254 to the Vancouver Drive, is that the south or the north?
Listen, it's a song. Listen, and I'm sorry, Dave, we're gonna close the road right when your place at the end. So, for, it was all recorded right here, it said not to do it, but she wanted to do it. But it's right there, it's right, it's a song. Yeah, so, Connie's right there, she can turn it for Stephen right back there, they get a lot of information. They give you the dates too, right, dates by chance, so let's go so far out, Haley is looking at too. Sometime in August. Haley's right there, she's actually the project manager for she live. Any other questions? That's actually kind of a good sign, when the question, I mean, the answer is good.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes,
So I just want to add that the one thing the council needs is that we need to hear from our residents, because it's very important that we know what you're thinking, what's important to you, as we, you know, address all of these issues, because we work for you guys. You elect us to represent you, to make this community the best place possible. So anytime we can get feedback, it doesn't matter if it's a letter, if it's an opportunity to come to the council meetings, study sessions, we only have one public comment session. Council meetings, we have two, beginning at the end. You get 3 minutes at that point, you can't respond, but we want to hear. We do take notes, we do listen. We've had some groups come in and they share with us their frustrations. They also share with us their joys. And we want to hear all of it, because the only way we can do our job for you is to hear from you.
and Council Dawson. I have a question here.
You mentioned the additional distance and the Maple Valley especially, that they have a heavy percentage of single family homes, and then, you know, you're gonna add the multifamily home. Is that something that's mandated by states? Is there certain regulation that covers that as far as percentages that you guys are trying to meet? How is that?
So if you feel possible for that for you. We know the answer, but I don't know the time.
So it's not a super straightforward answer. The state tells us the number of residential units will required by, the state requires us to have 1,700. There isn't enough land to put in 1,700 single homes in the city. So there isn't a way for us to plan and accommodate for. And I just want to clarify, Councilor Dawson mentioned it, but clarifying it, the city is not putting the residential units in, the city's not mandating that the residential units be built. We're planning for and accommodating, so we have land use available that would provide the space, so that would be available for that. So, it's a mix. There's a lot of conversations about what's called the missing middle, which is looking at different types of housing, townhomes, different things. The council's gonna be working really hard on the comprehensive plan for the next few months, and so, I really encourage everybody to go online, review the documents, and give comments, as Councilor Dawson said, give comments to the full council as they deliberate over this plan.
Thank you, Laura. Any other questions? Silent, so you can think about it. We like questions. Please ask us questions. If you don't know something, reach out to the awesome team, staff here, we'll get into it. If we need to change state law, we've done that before. Right, Representative Lewis, we changed state law, so we have to go home in the right school.
I'll ask them.
I like questions.
Hey, you guys let Amazon move into the area. Okay, tell me why.
For economic development, so we can have more jobs on them.
You added how many trucks, again, vans to the streets? They can't handle the streets now. In a safe manner, okay? You got them backed up 3 miles every afternoon and in the mornings. I just wanna know, you got 5-lane highway in Maple Valley here, and you got 2-lane highway in and out of Maple Valley. Well, now that I know that you're 288th, that's 2-lane highway.
Told you everything you said. Amazon has actually been an outstanding partner of the city of Maple Valley. When they first opened up, they told us what time their vans were gonna be going out. Laura and her team, Tony was there. They went and had a meeting with them, and they actually adjusted their times, so they wouldn't be hitting our peak times. Most of the time they leave now, it's after 7:30 from their distribution warehouse over there. And then they try to get back into some on peak time. But it worked with us very well. We needed to have economic development and jobs, local jobs in our city, so that's what we need to do that. So again, most of the time, at other distribution places, they leave at 6 o'clock in the morning, they leave at 7:30 because of the partnership we've got. So that's what we worked out with, and I think that's pretty good, that we were able to get that done. If I look at Amazon and then directly with there. So that was pretty powerful. If anyone didn't know, knows them very well, he rides his bike through there all the time and talks to them quite a bit.
Yeah, I appreciate the question. Basically, your gentleman had a concern about why Amazon came to town and that's concerned about the presence in the community. And I think it's important to know, I certainly have my concerns about it as well. My home is maybe 400 yards from this facility. And I have to tell you, I have never once heard a backup beeper. I have never once seen a vehicle speeding through my neighborhood. I've never once seen a vehicle speeding or running a stop sign. Never once. I've seen a lot of other vehicles. I almost got hit by one on a roundabout. So the reality is, I'm willing to bet there are fewer people than I can count on one hand that haven't ordered from Amazon newspaper. So the packages are already coming into town, it's the reality. So what Amazon did is they said, okay, our customer demand is pretty heavily concentrated in Southeast King County, and we're not really meeting that demand except by trucks that are coming from way out of town. So what can we do? Oh, there's some land in Maple Valley. Let's build a facility and run it more efficiently. The vast majority, and I want to, Tony might be able to correct me on this, I want to say 80% plus of the packages that are delivered from that facility go to our residents. So it is very much meeting a local need on a daily basis. And I have to echo what the mayor said, they've been a good community partner. So we heard lots of gloom and doom about allowing Amazon to come to town. I've no regret. They've been strong partners.
I picked one company, I did,
And also, I said too,
picking on one company.
the president of the school board right there, when this further backs up, and so the assistant superintendent, they actually hire a lot of those students to work there. I've been on tour of that place, and recommends a lot of our home students, and it's pretty impressive there. I don't know, it was a good time, they look bigger.
So I think your question really deals with the greater transportation issue across Maple Valley. So yes, and I would always tell friends coming in who've never been to Maple Valley before, that they're gonna drive down a 2-lane road, 4 lanes, goes to 2 lanes, don't worry, all roads used to be 2 lanes, but keep driving. Then you get to Maple Valley and it widens to 4. Well, outside of Maple Valley, from north up Renton, that's the state highway. The State Department of Transportation controls that. And we've had many discussions with them. And they've been very reluctant to do any widening on that, because they say if we widen it, more people will move out there. You shouldn't have people move to Maple Valley. Now, and then you get south of here, you get into Black Diamond. Black Diamond has also been experiencing a lot of growth. So we see traffic through there. We worked out a number of years ago, a few of the council members were on that, along with the staff, and with 10 trails for traffic mitigation. So traffic improvements at 4 corners. Part of what we're doing at T45 is a section between Spring Haven, Lake Forest down there, that, widening it from 2 lanes to 4 lanes is the stretch we're working on right now. We're in our traffic engineers are starting the initial part of the next phase of widening the Maple Valley Highway from 240th, where Key Bank is, and the new Valley Med Center, that two-story building, down to 244, the entrance is to Belmont Woods, so they're starting the preliminary design on that. So it's going in phases. Now, if we built roads and nobody drove on them, people would say, why'd you build roads? Why'd you spend our money? You didn't need to do that. So then the next thing is, we have people come, now we start working on it, they go, why didn't you build a road? You should have thought of that. Well, we do think about it. So we have a 5-year tip plan that we have these in there. That's one of the things we do after input on, because we have adjusted that plan over the years. Move things up, move things back. An example of one thing that moved up was the traffic light where TRM is behind Safeway and Fred Meyer. That traffic light installed there was because it was a safety issue. That was well out into the future, but because of the increase of traffic coming in around from Issaquah, down Hobart, Issaquah, into Maple Valley, Four Corners, and then on to Black Diamond, we moved that up in there to get that done. So that's when I say it's kind of somewhat fluid, we were able to move that when we hear concerns. So appreciate the questions, because just like you, we drive in the same thing and we get frustrated. I get frustrated. The deputy mayor just gave an example of, somebody gets a little, upset because, oh man, I don't want to slow down to the traffic circle. And so, I should say, you'll also see traffic circles going in because they don't stop traffic, they slow it down, but they keep it moving. So initially, I hate traffic circles, but they actually are safer and they keep traffic moving.
Answer your question?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Tommy, right there. So she better have a. Okay, any other questions? Honor this new community here, Dr. Elizabeth Nelson, welcome to town. Right there. Any other questions we get in order? No, okay. Thank you very much for being here. Let us know, the next one we'll be doing this month in late August, birthday, get a lot of information on that. Drive home safe, lots of cookies and coffee, there's everything that could be on the way, otherwise the firefighters eat them all. So you gotta grab whatever you want to. Drive home safe. Thank you very much.
No, but at the same time, I'm seeing what's
I heard about
happening,
that,
and
I just didn't get.
I